Most crypto accounting is broken, and most of the taxes that investors and companies filing are inaccurate. And this leads to investors and founders overpaying, exposed to audits, and at an increasing rate, businesses adopting blockchain rails that are flying blind. This issue is a big reason why Forbes recognized Camuso CPA and myself as leading the charge on crypto accounting, and why I was named one of the best in state top CPAs for 2025 and the only cryptocurrency CPA to make the list. So in this video, I'll break down what Forbes saw, how we built this category at Camuso CPA from the ground up, and why this matters for you if you're an investor, founder, or enterprise that's navigating digital assets. Now, we all know that crypto isn't fringe anymore. PayPal, Visa, MasterCard, Shopify are enabling stablecoin payments. We're seeing tokenized real-world assets exploding and more adoption from all types of investors. But also what we're seeing is more focus from regulators and tax agencies. Enforcement is here. The IRS has issued thousands of notices, and the DOJ is bringing indictments tied to crypto evasion, many of which I've covered on my podcast, The Financial Frontier. And for investors and businesses, compliance has shifted from optional to imperative. And Forbes has highlighted this gap of adoption outpacing the tax and accounting systems to manage it. And, this is something that I've been experiencing for my whole career since I started Camuso CPA back in 2016. This story is also told in Forbes. Back in 2016, this is the perfect example to highlight this. A Bitcoin miner was turned away by 6 CPAs. No firms wanted to take crypto back then. It was new, it was risky, it was unregulated. Most firms and CPAs back then didn't see this as a new emerging asset class. They didn't really take it seriously. And that's when I stepped in. And when I started my firm, I left the traditional Big Four path that I was already on, which is, the safest path to success in accounting, because I saw blockchain as an emerging financial system. And, I knew, or I believed one day that like double entry bookkeeping centuries ago helped to underpin commerce and finance, that blockchain would underpin this next evolution of global commerce, and that this will be taking place on chain. And Forbes recognized this decision as not just a career move, but really the beginning of a new category of tax and accounting and of CPAs that is crypto native. So, what have I seen since then? It's been extremely interesting since, that first mining client back in 2016. So since then at my firm, we've rebuilt thousands of portfolios into audit-ready financials for investors and dozens or hundreds of portfolios for various Web3 startups, protocols, mining operations, and different types of blockchain native businesses. So when we're working with investors in particular, even to this day, there is a 75% non-compliance rate, according to the IRS. So, when we're working with the new investor, our approach is usually going to take 3 stages, and it's designed to take you from non-compliance to compliance to tax efficiency. And, where this is it starts with crypto accounting cleanup, going back and reconstructing often 5 to 10 years plus of cryptocurrency transaction activity in order to rebuild your transaction history into defensible accounting records. And if you've been, doing this in crypto for maybe 5 years, 10 years, usually we're going to have to go back from the start so we get an accurate cost basis, because the cost basis is a cumulative calculation year over year. So that's usually the first step. We do the crypto accounting, this cost basis reconstruction, and we get everything accurate and documented throughout every year that you've been active. Then from there, we're going to do a compliance assessment, file any delinquent returns, amend any tax returns that were inaccurate. And if there are outstanding tax liabilities or penalties with the IRS or state tax agencies, we'll negotiate with them directly to deal with these issues. Finally, from there, we're able to take a forward-looking approach at your portfolio and your entire tax scenario. And we are able to design a tax plan with a series of forward-looking tax strategies that are designed to protect your wealth, minimize your taxes, and keep you in compliance going forward. So you're confident that you're not going to have any tax issues and that you're not overpaying in taxes. So, this isn't something that this isn't just some theory that we're doing here at Camuso CPA. Like I said, we've done this with thousands of investors, and we do it every single week, every single day at Camuso CPA. Recently, one of the examples covered in Forbes was for one client, their prior CPA miscategorized a little over $5 million in token activity. We were able to correct that and properly categorize it through our accounting process with the tax overview that we apply, and this saved them over $1 million in taxes. Another example would be a client that we recently did their accounting across 9 years and over 45 wallets. And we were, for them, able to uncover $775,000 approximately of tax savings, actually a little bit over that. So doing this process and even simply doing your accounting accurately can lead to tax savings. And, this is part of what Forbes saw and why they said that we're leading the charge on crypto accounting. We not only were one of the first firms guiding investors and miners in different types of businesses through these new tax and accounting challenges, but we're one of the firms that are doing this process consistently and delivering serious results for clients. So that's really where we're helping investors. But over the years, we continue to work with investors, but a lot of those early investors became founders, and their challenges shifted because Web3 startups and enterprises need similar things that investors need when it comes to accounting and taxes, but in a different way. Web3 enterprises really need a full back office system. And this is something else that Forbes really recognized our work for at Camuso CPA. We have been working with all types of businesses, from mining companies to funds to different types of startups to protocols that are on chain. And for them, like I said, we offer similar services. We offer accounting services, from setting up the accounting systems to managing them on an ongoing basis, and tax services to forward-looking tax planning to compliance. So, some examples of where we were able to help businesses there that Forbes covered was a digital asset fund processing 30 to 50 million transactions annually. We built them accounting automations that led to a much higher degree of accuracy related to their financial statements, but also saved them over 15 hours a month on their month-end closes. So we were able to improve their audit readiness while also saving them time. And this is the example of the type of volume and difficulty that we see on this side with funds and with startups and with different enterprises that need cryptocurrency accounting. They need serious infrastructure and bespoke solutions that are able to meet the activity that they have on chain. Another interesting case study or client that Forbes covered was a marketplace that we were working with before their launch related to real world assets, tokenization, and NFTs. Through our tax planning process, we were able to identify over 200K in potential sales tax liabilities that would have went overlooked if we didn't flag them during the tax planning process. This is the type of forward-looking advice that Web3 companies need because they're operating with new business models, new assets, new ways of transacting. And this not only creates accounting challenges, but it creates new tax considerations that may go overlooked by advisors that aren't deeply embedded into this space. And sales tax is interesting because, sales taxes on chain and with NFTs and with tokenized assets is something that I predicted to be a growing problem in the coming years. I've written a book on it. I've taught CPE courses on it. And as you can see, covered in Forbes here, we've been working with people on mitigating some of the compliance exposure and tax risk associated with this. But much like when, commerce proliferated online and we saw the Wayfair decision, we're likely going to see similar issues arise with on-chain transactions and non-compliance related to sales taxes on-chain. So there's a lot of nuance and interesting discussions around that topic. And I covered them at length in different videos in my book, Navigating the NFT Sales Tax Maze, in articles online, and in many other forms. So I would encourage you to check that out. But this is what Forbes meant by leading the charge. We are designing the bespoke tax plans and accounting infrastructure that are going to allow on-chain businesses to survive in this space. Without proper accounting infrastructure and forward-looking tax plans that are designed specifically for the nuances of their business and the way that they're transacting and doing business, these businesses are going to be left exposed. And this is the exact problem that we're solving at Camuso CPA and why Forbes recognized us. So, I've kind of alluded to this earlier. It's really no secret that crypto investors and founders have faced one of the largest compliance gaps in IRS history. And that has been the problem that I've been working on through Camuso CPA now for a decade almost. And I truly believe in this space that success isn't just measured in returns filed, it's measured in disasters prevented. And I was quoted in Forbes saying this, and it's because of this compliance issue. And, that's why we take this forward-looking approach with investors, but also the holistic approach of being able to have a strong accounting team to go back and deal with all of the accounting issues and cost basis reconstruction and accounting system setups and design that investors and businesses need to operate. But then also taking this forward-looking approach when it comes to tax planning to optimize portfolios, to identify tax exposures that are going overlooked. This is really the key, is cleaning up any past issues, but also preventing these disasters before they even come up. And as this role has grown at Camuso CPA with investors, with businesses, it has grown past even just taxes and accounting to assisting with treasury planning, entity structuring, token compensation, estate coordination, establishing family office systems, even sometimes partnering with some of our clients on investments. So, where I see my role and the role of Camuso CPA really is as the trusted advisor for our clients and the strategic defenders of their digital wealth. And that is the role we play for clients. We're really their first stop whenever they have a need from a tax, accounting, or just generally from a finance or legal perspective. We're their first stop that will either assist them directly or get them connected with the network that they need. So Forbes also not only recognized Camuso CPA for the work we're doing with investors and founders, but they recognized the Financial Frontier, the podcast that brings on accountants, CFOs, policy experts, regulators, people from all different aspects of compliance, accounting, and the regulatory space that are working deeply with digital assets. This platform is really the voice for people on this side of the industry to talk about some of the most pressing topics. And, we're bringing expertise on the policy side. We're talking to former IRS advisors, to advocacy associations at state and federal levels. We're talking to people that are in the trenches, establishing these accounting systems or working on these types of tax plans and clients. And this to me is, just as important as some of the work we're doing at Camuso CPA, because we're able to not only warn other investors and other founders about the challenges that they're facing that they may be unaware of, but we're really shaping and influencing the industry as they start to lean into this space. New CPAs, CFOs, accountants, and tax professionals that want to learn about cryptocurrency and blockchain and are looking for resources on it. That's what the financial frontier is. And, I've spoken to so many accountants and advisors and CFOs that, when they were first getting their start in crypto and Web3, it was the content through the financial frontier and also just through my YouTube channel that we host for Camuso CPA. My personal YouTube channel. It actually hosts a Financial Frontier and Camuso CPA. That this is one of the first pieces of content and places where they start to find information and get their bearings in this industry. So we're having the conversations that matter, and we're doing this through the Financial Frontier, through the Digital Asset Digest, our newsletter. I've published several books on cryptocurrency tax topics. I teach CPE courses on tax topics. I'm on several councils and advisory groups related to different tax and regulatory considerations. So part of my role in this space and what Forbes has recognized is, helping to shape these conversations about how digital asset tax and accounting and regulations are going to evolve and take shape overall. So, this matters because enforcement isn't slowing down, and you need advisors that are not just going to be compliant, but forward positioned. And, Forbes really saw that I'm not just following the curve, anticipating it, and even in many instances, seeing around it. So one of the other things that Forbes covered in this article is really where the next evolution of professional services is going. Obviously, myself and my firm were one of the first firms to be crypto native, and we saw that trend very early on, and we're able to provide immense value to this space before other firms even took it seriously. Really, I think the next evolution that what Forbes covered, it's obviously going to be crypto native, but it's not just going to be crypto native, it's going to be AI enabled. And I really believe that, the future of this profession is not going to be defined by retrofitting these legacy systems, but really by building crypto native AI enabled firms from the ground up. And that's what I've done with Camuso CPA. We've integrated intelligent automation across our accounting reconciliation process, our tax planning process, and our reporting workflows. And what this leads to is reducing timeline, improving accuracy, and allowing us to scale our services without sacrificing precision. And, this is the future that Forbes highlighted, and it's something that our firm is working on a daily basis to make sure that we're delivering the highest level of value and efficiency to our clients, and building these types of intelligent automations into our workflows. So Forbes recognized us because at Camuso CPA and through the financial frontier, we're designing the future of tax and accounting for crypto and Web3. And it's not just Forbes. I've been featured in Forbes, Accounting Today, many other publications. And obviously, I host a Financial Frontier podcast as well, alongside other regulators and industry leaders. So the next stages of this are going to be very exciting as we start to see the next generation of founders and investors come on board, and blockchain-powered businesses. And Camuso CPA and the financial frontier are going to be here, as Forbes said, leading the charge in crypto accounting and taxes, delivering the value and services that this industry desperately needs. So if you're an investor, if you're a founder or an enterprise that is transacting on chain, and you want to protect your digital wealth and get ahead of compliance with proactive tax planning and accounting infrastructure that is going to be able to sustain your needs and scale with your portfolio or business, Camuso CPA is the firm for you. According to Forbes, we are setting the standard for crypto accounting and leading the charge. So if you want to get in contact with me or my firm, I'd be happy to speak with you. Visit our website at camusocpa.com, and you can schedule a time to speak with me directly. One other thing I briefly want to do is just point you guys, if you're still listening here, I also to go ahead and check out the article on Forbes leading the charge on crypto accounting. So you'll see it here on my screen. If you just type in leading the charge on crypto accounting, you'll see it here, and you can read the whole article. So, I covered a lot of the points in here, but I just wanted to point that out as well. So to everyone that watched, I appreciate it, and I hope you got some value from this. Until next time, I'm Patrick Musso, signing off.